This is Jack from Dead Poet Society, and you're listening to Concert Crap.
Hey guys, this is Allie from Concert Crap here. I am so excited because I am here with one of my favorite band members. I've got Jack from Dead Poet Society. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I am good. So let's get on into this.
Do it.
You guys had so much going for you before COVID happened. You had tour with Bad Flower. You had your shows at South by Southwest that got canceled. Your shows in Arizona that got canceled.
Yep.
How you guys were on a roll. That must have sucked. So how do you feel like that both negatively and positively affected the band?
It's kind of interesting because, so we played one show out of that entire run we were supposed to do with South by Southwest and the shows leading out there. We played in San Diego. That was the one show we did. And it was like, that was the day that everything was popping off. And you go on Twitter and he's canceling their shows. It wouldn't feel right if we played Arizona. So we decided last minute call to cancel there. And it's like a blessing and a curse, I'd say, because it's cool. I mean, it would have been cool to play South by Southwest, obviously, to get like official stages there and whatnot. But I mean, it gave us a lot of time, pretty much all the time to finish up the album and get that done. And we've been working on this album now for 2 years. I mean, it's all done now, and we're, in the
so close.
The gears are turning, and we're ready to go. But like, I don't think that if COVID hadn't happened, and I'm trying to put a positive spin on it somehow, is that, maybe the album would have taken even longer, because it's pretty much a full-time job. You have to work on it every day because nobody's going to make you do it.
Of course.
And I think one positive thing that came out of it as well is that at that one show we played in San Diego, I met my now girlfriend, and we've been together for 7 months, and it's awesome, and I love her very much. So I guess that was a positive, because if we had played those shows and gone on to South by Southwest and everything, I would have never hung out with her. Wouldn't have had the time with her.
Hell yeah, that's a huge plus. Your girlfriend seems like she is one of the coolest fucking girls ever. So
she's total fucking badass.
Beautiful and just like a cool person. So you lucked out. Nicely done.
I lucked out very, very much so.
That's awesome. So going back, you did that tour with Bad Flower, with Weathers. You guys it seemed like you guys had a cult following almost. Because I know there were so many people that were going to so many different shows. They learned every single song by you guys, by Weathers, by Bad Flower. How was that? Like, what was that like just to be a part of that, such a fun and exciting tour?
Oh, well, it was the first time. I mean, not the first time officially, but that was definitely the longest tour, largest tour we'd ever done. And seeing Bad Flowers, this community of their fans that are just so diehard and loyal, coming to us and being like, oh, if Bad Flower thinks these guys are cool, then we think these guys are cool. And out of that, we've gotten some diehard fans. And it's so
one of them.
Yes. It's so cool being a part of that. I mean, it's just like you have people sending you mail and, like actual mail, like sending pictures and like letters and being like, thank you so much for this. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so cool having these people just
love you guys
with them through the music. Yeah, you connect with them through the music that you wrote. They felt something from it, and now you share this connection between them, and it's just like a family. It's like a cult that's growing, and it's really cool.
And I want to kind of compliment the band, I guess. You guys are so active with your fans. And I know I appreciate it. Any other fans that I have talked to, we appreciate it. But that's just something, I think it's really special. You're on first name basis with some of your fans. And not a lot of people can say that. So I think that that's a really cool thing. On that note, I have to ask for my girl, Tina. Do you think you have an idea what I'm going to ask you?
Let me guess. It has something pertaining to our song, Natalia.
Duh.
Yes.
So, you ever going to play it live?
You know what? I like to keep things mysterious, so let's just say it may show up in the future. It may not. I don't know. You know, we have the songs that we love to play and songs. We've only played Natalia once live.
Really?
Ever.
So
Yeah.
then, okay, question for you. When you are writing your music, I know, say, some of my favorite bands, I have favorite songs that I have never heard live. I know I never will hear live. Do you guys, I mean, when you're writing your music, do you think, okay, how is this going to sound on a CD player or through the speakers? Or do you think, okay, this is going to just hit so hard when we're playing it live? Is there kind of one that outweighs the other, or is it just whatever works?
It's a toss-up. I mean, it's a toss-up, honestly, because like I don't think we ever set into a song having an expectation for it.
Mhm.
You know, we let the art guide the art for it. And if something's going to be recorded and played on an album or it's a single or something, you want to put every bit of your effort into making sure that that recording sounds good. You know, everything that comes through, and you can't really set expectations of like, well, this kind of doesn't sound as great on the recording, but it sounds awesome live. It's like, no, you kind of have to figure out how to get both of those to hit.
Mhm.
And, you know, whether that comes down to having backing tracks live or recording things differently, you can't really, you want to stay true to the art. And if what your objective is to record something, then make it sound as best as possible and worry about the live later. Or if you play something live and it sounds amazing, but it's not coming through in the recording, then figure out what you need to do to get that sound to come through. And, you know, it's a constant learning process. You know, we've worked with producers before, but I'd say like the majority of music that we create, we produce ourselves and mix ourselves. I can't wait to talk about who we got to mix this last album because he's fucking awesome. And I'm really
May I
excited
ask,
about that,
is it?
yeah, I don't know if I can say yet. I don't know if I can say yet, but
I think I know.
Oh, do you?
I think I might.
Okay, you want to have a guess?
CA? I mean CL?
Nope,
okay.
nope, different guy. But
That was my guess. I'm out.
You'll be. It was kind of a dream to work with this guy because he mixed one of our favorite bands and my favorite album of all time. So
that's okay. So
yeah.
I'm not going to ask who you're, because I want it to kind of be, as much as I want to pry, I want to let that be a secret. So that's fine. That is what it is. I get it.
If they're a fan of our band and they want to shoot some, you know, ideas, some guesses this way, you know,
We'll
my
find
favorite
out.
band, my favorite album, that mixer.
Oh, I think I might have another guess.
Okay.
Because you guys are big Nothing But Thieves fans.
We are.
Does that, whatever. We'll find out. We'll find out.
I
We'll see.
don't know. We'll find out.
Well, I guess since I brought up Nothing But Thieves, and you guys are such big fans of them, and are they a musical inspiration to you guys with what you guys are writing?
I mean, I would say so. I mean, we're inspired by a lot of these bands that are kind of paving the way for this kind of new wave of rock that's coming through, making things sound, you know, interesting and different and giving rock some life again because it died for a while.
Yes.
You know? And,
yeah.
I would say, I mean, most bands that we're inspired by a lot of modern bands. A lot of our, we're a lot smaller than Nothing But Thieves, way smaller than Nothing But Thieves, but I guess they're in the same age range, so peers almost. But I would say the majority of my personal musical influence comes from Royal Blood.
Ooh, good choice.
Because I love them. And
oh, thank you.
And yeah, I mean, I love what they do. I love all their songs. You know, my girlfriend and I are constantly blasting their album.
Good choice.
I think in general, though, all of these new bands like Cleopatra, Royal Blood, Nothing But Thieves, Bad Flower.
Grandson, too.
Grandson as well. Yeah, Grandson's fucking killing it. They all are going for something. They're all diving into these veins that people didn't know existed for rock.
Yeah,
you know? And for a while, it kind of felt like you had your Black Keys and Imagine Dragons, and those were the bands. Those were like the two bands, maybe 21 Pilots as well. The two, like three rock bands that kind of existed throughout the decade of 2010 to 2020. But, it's just kind of all kind of rock turned into this stomp clap fucking Target commercial bullshit. And it was cool when Imagine Dragons did it because it was innovative. And then everybody was just like, oh, fuck, this shit sinks a lot. Let's just, write, we'll take tomorrow. Oh, like that. It's just like, oh, like this isn't saying shit. And I think that that's been a big motivator for people who love rock and wanted to start creating. And so like Cleopatra and Nothing But Thieves and all those bands are saying something and doing something. And we want to be a part of that. And we're trying to be a part of that.
I love that. So you guys released your new single Into Deep last month. Yeah. Were you guys expecting all of that success? You got put on so many different playlists. You had so many different articles written about you guys. Like that was pretty exciting. So what was that like?
It's really fucking awesome. Big shout out to Ali Hagendorf for doing that. Hagendorf, I think it's pronounced. But yeah, she curates all the Spotify playlists, and I'm just really appreciative that she loves our music and is willing to kind of
help you guys out,
put her reputation on, to put us in these playlists. It's fucking awesome, and we have a great team at Spinefarm, the label that we just signed to. I mean, all those guys over there they're so fucking cool, and we're quickly becoming very good friends. And they're feeling more like a family, and it's just awesome to have this team behind us pushing and believing in us so hard. So Into Deep it's doing really well, and I'm really excited about it. And it's thanks to all of these people that just, are passionate about our music. Yeah, believe in us.
You guys are good. You're definitely going places. So new single coming out November 12th. Can you tell us anything about it? Is it going to be different from Into Deep? Do we get kind of a similar sound?
Well, let's say this. Okay, so since this is coming out on November 11th, I can talk about this, but we're going to be re-releasing Coda.
Oh.
Because
that's exciting.
We felt that song has a lot of potential and didn't really get to truly see the light of day. So we wanted to re-release that one, and we remixed it so it sounds way fucking better. Doesn't sound like the shitty fucking mix that we did 2.5 years ago. And we're releasing a music video with it as well.
Is this where you guys were filming recently where good old Will lit the piano on fire and we got that beautiful just
Yes.
Yeah, so good.
Reaction of the year on Dylan's story.
My God, that was great. So much
I'm
fun.
really excited for that. This music video, we actually just shot it out in the desert a couple days ago, and it's just like I'm really excited for it because the visual art of it is really coming together. A lot of the shots turned out exactly the way we wanted to see them in our heads, and going back to the staying true to the art of it, music videos. I don't feel like they're as important anymore, but it's still something that we love to do just because if you create a great visual, it can help people who are listening to the music for the first time get the vibe of what they're supposed to be feeling when they hear the song.
That is very true. Totally.
Yeah. And so when it comes out the way you want it in your head, then you're on the right track. Into Deep didn't come out exactly the way we wanted it to.
Okay.
That one ended up being a little bit more of like a standard kind of music video. And it looks great. And Jordan Wolfbauer, who is our DP director, editor guy, did a fucking phenomenal job. I think it came down to mostly our skill set as far as writing a script goes, and then our ability to execute that vision. We learned a lot from that music video. And so we're kind of going back to what we do best as far as music videos go. And that is a very, very basic concept and try to do it in a unique way.
Oh, I like that.
Instead of writing a script and trying to put a story together.
So for your music videos, is it the band coming up with the concept, or do you guys have Jordan coming up with the concept, or kind of a mixture of everybody?
we generally come up with the concept and then we pitch it to Jordan, and then Jordan helps us along. Okay. So he's kind of like, in a way, a producer. Okay. So we'll pitch him the idea, tell him about it, and he goes, oh, okay, well, what if we did this differently? Let's do this. I see how we can get this done. We need something more interesting here, like blah, 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 blah. And then it just becomes a collaborative effort.
Okay. Makes sense. I love it. And he seems like just such a fun, the fact that both you guys and Bad Flower, you get all of just your crew, you get your friends together to do your videos. One, I think it makes it more comfortable for the artist because you're surrounded by people that you already know. But two, I think it also just, like you said, the idea can be executed better because you're working with people who know your vision, know kind of where you want to go. And you guys have been coming up with some really great stuff because of it. So I'm all here for it.
Yeah. I mean, it really does come down to finding that team to really work with you, because it is always such a risk working with somebody for the first time. And then if you're working with somebody for the first time every single time, it's like, there's not that comfortability where you can be like, that sucks, don't put that in there, or we need to change this. You're like trying to be polite because you're trying to get to know the person, but at the same time you have this vision and you don't know if they line up. But if somebody knows what you sound like, they know how you think, they know how you work, the more you do that, just the tighter you become.
Yeah, very true. So I guess my next question, being the front man of a band, how much are we really seeing like true Jack's personality and how much of it is stage Jack?
I would say it's pretty true. I would say, like being a front man, oddly enough, is like being comfortable and being yourself on stage is weirdly a skill.
Okay.
Because it's like you are really trying to hone the skill of just being in the moment and saying whatever comes to your head and getting into the music and just being able to draw everybody's attention. And so I'm getting better at it, as everybody should always be trying to get better at something, Oh,
of course.
And it helps a lot to be on the road with bands that are way better than you, because it makes you really fucking work. And that's, seeing Josh on stage, he's just so captivating. Yeah. And it's inspiring, and it pushes me to work harder, because it's like when you're an opening band, as bad as it sounds, you're trying to fucking steal the show. You're trying to be like, because nobody wants to see a fucking opening band. You get there and you're just like, you get there early because you want a good spot, Yeah. And you're just like, all right, cool. Now start the timer of this hour and a half that I have to wait for Bad Flower to come on stage, or whoever you're seeing, and let's just fucking get these bands over with. So you're starting from this low position of like, especially if you're opening up the show like we did, where it's just like, nobody's drunk yet.
True. Oh,
nobody wants to fucking hear you because they don't know who you are. They're here to see Bad Flower or whatever band you're seeing. And so you have to really push. And the goal is to do better than the headliner,
Totally.
And I mean, as bad as it sounds, that's what it is. And so that's why it's so great going out on the road with bands that are way better than you, like fucking Bad Flower and Weathers. It's just like, they're just good. They're just so good that you just feel the pressure of like, I can't be the disappointment here.
Yeah. Oh, totally. But you have never disappointed me whenever I've seen. So
thank you very much.
Oh, of course. So I guess since, like I said, you, with the tour, the whole cult thing with Bad Flower, Dead Poet Society, Weathers, since you guys have been compared so much to Bad Flower, what do you guys think is more different, or that differentiates you in Bad Flower?
Sonically?
Anyway.
Okay. That's an interesting question. I would say that their music is, how would you say this? They're very, very, we're both melody driven bands. Their band, their arrangements are always so interesting, and how like they're more chordal and less riffy, but they focus really heavily on hits. So it's like you get these really interesting synced up rhythms, and these kind of like they cut meters short and add meters somewhere, and it's very interesting. So I think that's a big place where we do differ, is like we're much more riff driven. And not as many chords. And but I don't know. I mean, it might change. I don't know. Fucking Josh is such a good melody writer. Like it's fucking stupid how good he is. And so I mean they're definitely better than us there. So I
It's
guess I mean
different, though.
yeah, it's different. It's different for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I would say they have a very broad appeal, but still very unique.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I totally believe it. And now for you, Mr. Jack, you
Mhm.
have one of the most beautiful falsetto voices I have heard a male use.
Oh, thank you.
What is your vocal range?
What is my vocal range? You know, I've never actually tested it before.
You
I
went
mean,
to Berkeley and you didn't test your vocal range? Come on.
no, well, I guess I did. I guess I did, but I didn't really ever like super push it because I actually went to Berkeley for guitar.
Okay.
And about halfway through, a little more than halfway through, I switched to vocal because I was sitting in a blues lab one day, which is basically, 10 guitarists sitting in a circle and learning new riffs and licks and whatnot. Basically, like it's for me it was kind of hell on earth, but it was like with all these people trying to out solo each other. Oh, it's just so cringy to me. But I was watching everybody take a solo and they were going around the room and I was last in line, and everybody was taking a solo, and it got to the guy right before me and it just hit me. I was like, I fucking suck at guitar. What am I doing? Why am I in this class? And so right after that class, I went straight to the Berkeley
Admissions,
fucking,
whatever.
principal department or whatever it's called, and switched my principal to vocal. And I took 2 vocal lessons, one with this woman named Janie Barnett, and she was the one that tested my vocal range. And I can't remember what it was, but I can sing really high. I cannot sing low. When I start getting into the lower range, I've just never practiced it. So when we sing songs like American Blood, it's the lower stuff that kills me. It's so much harder for me because I don't know how to control my breath at that low of a register.
Oh, it's tough. Yeah. Singing the high notes. Yeah. If you get that, you just kind of pretend you're yawning, get the whole lift your soft palate. I used to be a choir dork, so
it's second nature by this point.
Yeah.
But the low stuff, fucking, I don't know. So I sing like I can sing in the fucking little choir boy range, but not a man. I still get called ma'am on the phone. I'm 27 years old.
Hey, 27. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So then, did you know that you could sing, or were you just like, screw guitar, I want to just try choir? Or did you kind of
I knew that I could sing. I knew that I could sing, but it wasn't like I thought at the time, being like a big John Mayer fan growing up, that it was like, ooh, it's fucking not cool to be just a singer. You can't say that you're a singer. Singers don't have any skill or talent or anything like that. It's like, it was like this kind of guitarist mentality of like, no, if you're fucking a real performer, you got to be able to solo. And I just kind of like, it's this mentality that you see a lot at Berkeley because, every guy my age that has touched a guitar is a John Mayer fan. And so I think they've all seen the same interviews and everything like that where he's talked about that before. But it's at one point I was just like, no, I'm so much better at singing than I am at guitar. Let's just focus on that.
That works.
That's where I went. Yeah.
That's so funny. So a friend of mine from high school, he went to Berkeley and he was a guitar player and total John Mayer fan. Just everything you said was what he was. So that was just funny to see. But oh my God, literally just like that. My goodness. So what music are you guys listening to right now that's totally opposite than what you guys produce?
No, good question. We listen between everybody in the band. We listen to a massively wide range of like music. I mean, from rock to hip hop to R&B to jazz, and it's like everybody in the band listens to something different. And I think something I've been into a lot, fucking Oliver Tree. Have you heard of him?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're listening to a lot of him. He's amazing. I think the artists that I'm usually really drawn to and I get obsessed with are the ones that create sounds that are just so beyond weird, yet they put like really hooky melodies into them. I just get obsessed with them. So like Oliver Tree, St. Vincent, I mean, those are the two that have always stuck out to me the most. I saw St. Vincent live. I hadn't even heard of her. I hadn't even heard her music. Somebody had just told me at the place that I worked when I lived in Boston about her, and I landed 2 free tickets to Boston Calling because one of my friends wrote this story about this like mentor that he had on this page that was all about like mentors, and it was like, tell us the story of your mentor and we'll give you 2 free tickets to Boston Calling. And so he just fucking made up a story and got 2 free tickets, but then he couldn't go, so he gave them to me. And so we go there, and I saw St. Vincent live, and I was like, what in the fuck? Like this, it was to this day the most insane live show I've ever seen. It was just so cool, and she was just so captivating, and the sounds were so bizarre. So this hasn't come out anything in the past year or two.
Yeah. It kind of, though, when you say that and how you like bands that kind of get those weird sounds, or you're just kind of like, what the fuck is this? So for me, when you guys came out with Swarm, with that whole, Jack, was that really like to like mimic bees?
It sounded like that.
Because I remember you guys were doing some Q&A while you guys were on tour, and somebody was like, what's the inspiration for Swarm? And you responded with bees. And I was like, I mean, that could be, I don't know if you're just fucking around and trolling right now, but that
no, we were just being stupid. We were just being stupid. But the sound that we got from that was just, Jack had that riff. He just went, no, because we use this fretless guitar that allows us to get these like really kind of strange sounds. And that was just something that came out, and he was like, you guys want to like play with it? And I was like, yeah. And it was me, Jack, and then our original bassist Nick at the time. And we sat, they were just like, Jack, just sing something over it. And so I went and sat down, and I just sang the verse over it, and the chorus I just didn't second guess it, and then went back and wrote lyrics later for the chorus, and
came out with the song.
Kind of all came together. But yeah, those weird sounds. I mean, to this day, like I know Swarm didn't do great because it's, not the most accessible song, but like I fucking love that song, and the music video that we made for it is my favorite music video that we've ever done. And it's
that's a
hype
great
song.
One. It's so good, and I love when you guys do it live and you do your whole crowd surfing, and then, oh my God, it's great. And then I remember second time I saw you guys was at the Roxy when you opened for The Score, and there wasn't a big enough crowd for you to crowd surf, but then you made Jack, you're like, go down and play the end of the song. So he comes out and plays the guitar, and I was all around him like, yeah, just getting into it.
That's so cool.
It was great. I do, if I may ask, what happened with Nick? We love Dylan. He's fucking great, but I don't know. And if I'm allowed to ask, I'm going to.
No, we can talk about it. I'll talk about anything. So Nick got a job offer back in Boston.
Okay.
And he missed the area. We all knew that, and it was a really good offer, and something that we don't blame him for not going
being part of
being a part of. And so we just kind of, he moved back there, and we tried to make it work for a little while, and you need kind of everybody in the same spot. So we just parted ways, and he's still one of my best friends. I talk to him every month and lets me know what's going on and everything. And he's still doing his thing over on the East Coast back in Boston. But so Dylan's been kind of a fill-in ever since we started the band. And so we were just kind of like, well, it makes sense to bring him on. Do you want to play bass for us? And he was like, yeah.
Well, that's good. I love hearing that it wasn't like anything bad. You guys are all still on good terms with him. So that's just because I had no idea. I was like, as a person, I feel like you always expect the worst. It's like, oh, what crazy drama went down with them? Like, why?
Yeah. Nah, it wasn't that at all. We all still love him to death.
Oh, good. He's still supporting you guys and everything. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have a favorite lyric you have written?
Yeah. And it's in the new album.
Do we get to hear what that lyric is? Because we don't know what the song is or anything.
I would just say that, amongst the music that we've come out with, I can give you that. So
that works.
What would that be? I think either in Coda or I forgot which music we've released. I think In Too Deep I'm pretty proud of the lyrics in that one. Because In Too Deep kind of came together about a year ago, I'd say. I was home visiting one of my friends in Virginia, and he just bought a house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a big first step for somebody. And we were all hanging out and talking about it, and all my friends were asking me how the band was going and whatnot. And then I went home and I just kind of felt like what the fuck am I doing with my life? Like, all my friends have careers and they have, savings and they're buying houses. I was like, and I'm still doing the same thing I was doing at 18 years old and, trying to make it in a band. And so I kind of just shout out all the verses, and we had another chorus that was awful, and we ditched that one for the one that came out. But I think the lyrics in Too Deep, the verse, really, really ring true with me, because it's all facts and thoughts of mine.
Yeah.
About life and
totally.
where I stand. Yeah.
And I know, like, in my article that I wrote about In Too Deep, I think just with that song too, why it's so great and why it's so relatable is, obviously the words kind of are very direct with what they're about, like your friend buying his house, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's like, even if you are the most successful person, there's still something going on with you that you wish you could change or anything like that. So I just love the fact that any type of person can listen to that song and still relate to it. So,
and I think creatives at especially relate to that. Anybody that's trying to make it in a field where the only person that cares about it is you.
Yeah.
You have to keep the ship going. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody cares,
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a huge thing, because the whole song is about the fact that you're addicted to this lifestyle
mm-hmm.
and this career path that is destructive, but you love every second of it, you know?
Totally. It's such a good song. I can't stop listening to it. I listen to it probably 3 times a day at least. So
fuck yeah.
I swear it's great. Do you have a certain like creative space that you like to write in at all?
Yeah, actually. I find that I write the absolute best when I am doing something else. So like if I'm driving in the car, that's where I come up with a lot of melodies and riffs in my head. And back when I was in Boston, I would come up with them while I was on the T, riding back home, or like in class.
Yeah.
And, the teacher would be talking, I'd be thinking in my head, and I'd leave the classroom to go sing something into my phone and then come back. And yeah. And those things, I find that when I get to a new location, that makes it very easy to. So if I go back home to Virginia,
mm-hmm.
or if I go to Boston, I find that I'll be able to write things very easily. We have a new song coming out with the album, and it's a song that I completely wrote. Not at I didn't write it at home. I wrote it in an airplane, and I wrote it in Boston in a music store. That was where almost all of it came together. And then the outro we wrote in the band room. But yeah, most of the song came from those 2 locations.
That's so cool that you can do that. I wish I had the abilities to just whip out a song whenever. Oh my goodness.
Oh, well, it's not whenever. I wish it was whenever, but sometimes it's a real fucking struggle to get something new. But yeah.
How about this? Do you prefer writing sober, or do you like to have like some weed, have a little drink?
I write the majority of stuff sober. I mean, like, a lot of people can operate high. I mean, like, my whole band pretty much operates high. And they love writing that way, and they love performing. Some of us love performing that way, but for me, I've always been like sober when I write. Maybe a drink or two. I mean, getting a little drunk, like sometimes will take you, it will get you to not judge yourself as much, which is usually the best when you're trying to like flow. But for the most part, I mean, like, I don't smoke at all. I drink, but I don't smoke. And I just find that when I'm sober but distracted, I can write my best because I'm not judging it because I'm doing something else. But I've never really written high before. I become incapacitated when I'm high.
You're just that person
I'm
who's
a
like,
useless fucking blob. Yeah.
give him some snacks and don't bother him, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. So obviously, I want to ask you when the new album is coming out. I'm sure you're not allowed to tell me. Can you tell me
Mhm.
anything? I want to dig.
Keep an eye out early 2021, I would say.
Early 2021?
And early 2021. And we got a couple more singles coming out, Coda, and then we're going to do one more after that, I think right now. That's the plan. And then we'll have a focus track when the album drops. But I'm so excited for this album. I think something I can tell you about is this album. Anybody who's a fan of our band knows that we release a very, very, very wide range within the rock genre.
Yes.
People constantly think that we're changing our sound, but in reality, it's that we don't try to fit into a box. We don't try to write a certain way. We always let the song dictate where it goes and how it sounds. And so that's something that I don't think a lot of people understood for a while, especially like labels. And we had a lot of trouble getting signed. One, probably because we sucked, but also at the same time, that's probably the main reason. But also at the same time, constant feedback we got was they're still looking for their sound. And our response to it was like, no, you just don't get it. Like, we write like Dead Poet Society. Mm-hmm. Nobody else writes the way we write. We write like our band. And that might come out in a heavy song. It might come out in a more folky song. It might come out in like a slow, more Coldplay kind of song, but it's just, no matter what, it's always going to sound like us, but it's all going to sound different. And so we have songs that in this new album that derive heavily from Swarm, but they're more like fucking not headbangers, but you can kind of like chill to them. And but they're heavy. And then we have more of our blues rock kind of mixed with the weird sounds, kind of stuff like Bury Me Whole or Low Air. Then we have songs like Coda. Then we have more like alt songs, and then we have a folk song as well. It's just like the whole album sounds so different. The whole thing sounds so different. I'm so excited to release it because it's I think a big objective for us was that when we released the album, we wanted it to be something that you could listen to front to back without getting bored.
Okay.
And
that sounds great.
We wanted it all of the moods. And that I don't want to speak for myself, but I think we kind of nailed it with it, because that was a big problem I always have with albums is that you listen to one artist and you get 6 songs in and all of a sudden they all sound the same. You're like, what the fuck? Like, I'm bored now. What do I do? And it might be great songs, but you're like,
I just listen to this. It sounds
tired.
like.
Yeah, you get tired of, the same thing over and over. So we wanted to make an album where you could listen to it front to back and not be bored.
Well, good for you guys. And also I have to commend you because being a new band and trying to get that record label and everything, it could have been so easy for you guys to be like, okay, this is the sound that we do best or that people like the best. Let's just stick with that, get our record label, get signed, and go from there. But you guys are like, fuck that. No, we're Dead Poet Society. We have a way that we do this. We like the way that we do this, and we're not going to change that for somebody because we're proud of what we're doing. Yeah. So I think that's amazing of you guys. I hope that's something that you always keep up doing, and I just commend you for it.
I mean, the reason we do this is, we're in a genre that isn't really that popular. So you couldn't do it for the money. You couldn't do it for anything else. You do it because you fucking love the art of it. And and we're just going to keep doing us. And right now we have an amazing team that finally understands what we're trying to do. And they're behind us 100%, and they're fucking awesome. And it's growing. It's growing. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at WeAreDPS and Facebook.com/Dead Poet Society Band. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, Xbox Music, everywhere.
It's great. I definitely feel like you guys are going to have a very bright future, and I am so excited to be able to follow it.
Thank you so much, Allie.
Of course. Well, Jack, thank you so much for being on our podcast today.
Thank you for
I
having me
am
on.
so excited for Coda to come out with the new mixing and everything, new album, videos. You guys are just awesome, and I can't wait.
Oh, well, you guys are awesome too. Thanks for letting us do this.
Of course.